All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Wion at this hour, where Pakistan and media censorship has not always gone hand in hand. Now, a blacklist managed by the Ministry of Interior Affairs decides as to who stays in and who stays out. Now, Pakistan has blocked a journalist by name Steven Butler, the Asia Program Coordinator of Press Freedom Group Committee to protect journalists from entering into the country. Now, soon after landing at the airport in Lahore, Butler was immediately sent packing. He was forced onto a flight immediately to Doha, the very flight that he had come in from. Now, the flight crew reportedly also confiscated his passport and boarding pass during the entire flight duration. Butler was travelling to the country to participate in the Asma Jahangir Conference, a roadmap for human rights in Pakistan. Now, the Press Freedom Group, the CPJ, has said in a statement that the immigration authorities at the Allama Iqbal International Airport in Lahore had denied entry to Butler, although he had a valid journalist visa. Now, the CPJ's Executive Director, Joel Simon, has demanded a full explanation from the Pakistani authorities as to why Steven Butler was sent back. All right, now for more insights as to what exactly has happened in this incident, we are joined in by Mr. Amir Shaheen, who is a senior journalist, and he joins us live from Lahore. Amir Shaheen, thank you very much indeed for joining us on this broadcast. And let me begin by asking you this. You know, this is a rather a bizarre case where a journalist wanted to come attend a human rights conference and he was immediately sent packing. Why has this happened?
Not so bizarre in these times, and not so bizarre at this place right now, because right now as a journalist we are facing the brunt of the regime, as we call it. The regime has brought all the journalists to a brink of annihilation, especially financial murder is happening in Pakistan. And every day on the television screens we see journalists being openly slapped around by security officials with impunity. And this wasn't happening since last time when it was General Zia's era, and newspapers had to not publish news and print blank pages. I mean, a couple of days ago on the live television, a TV channel claimed that they were being forced not to show opposition leaders on their screen. And I mean, if they were lying, of course, the current regime of Pakistan can take them to the court, given that the courts are giving all the good decisions in favor against media. So, I mean, this is this current situation right now. And let me add that it was the Interior Ministry that prevented a member from CPJ to enter into Pakistan. So who is the Interior Minister? The Interior Minister is Brigadier Ijaz Shah. He's the same guy that Benazir Bhutto, assassinated former Prime Minister of Pakistan, named him for planning her assassination. He's the same guy who the military regime during Musharraf's time tried to put him forward as an ambassador, as the High Commissioner to Australia. And it was Australia that said that we don't want him because of his checkered past. So it is this very guy. A few weeks ago, some people came to my place and they snatched my mobile phone, and I called the cops on them. And I was arrested, and they gave me an experience of near death, which means suffocating you till you almost die and then let you off with a warning. So this is happening all around us in the community. And I mean, it's nothing different.
Right, that's shocking. I mean, the experience that you spoke about in terms of what you were subjected to, that's actually very, very shocking, and that's because you practice journalism. There is one point that I want you to shed some light on, if you could. Now, Steven Butler, it was said, was stopped from entering Pakistan because his name figured on the stop list of the Ministry of Interior Affairs. What is this stop list about, and why is an individual put on this list? And has there been an explanation that's been given by the Pakistani authorities as to who are these individuals who've been put on the stop list?
There has been no explanation given by the authorities, by the Interior Ministry. It's not that we've not been able to get in touch with them. Journalists have been able to get in touch with them, and they've declined to comment. Here they are preventing somebody, a foreign journalist with a valid journalist visa, entering into the country, and they don't even want to pretend to be busy. They are available, but they do not want to talk about it. So this is what's been happening in Pakistan, and I think that the real issue is that because they're so incompetent, they're hiding behind incompetence. But somebody like me sees it that it's more than just incompetence. It's just that they are pushing the boundaries. They thought about arresting a 70-year-old journalist and put him in chains and see the reaction. And the reaction was bad, so they apologized, kind of, and they let the journalist go. So they're pushing the boundaries. This has not been happening in Pakistan. Pakistan is not North Korea. So they're pushing the boundaries, and because they're so incompetent and the military establishment is behind them, they know that they'll get away with it. And if they get away with it, they would have gained more space for the extremists and for anti-media freedom powers.
Right, and also just before I let you go, Shine, if you could just very quickly say, is the reason for this kind of treatment that is meted out to journalists, is it because they are critical of the government in Pakistan?
Absolutely. I mean, the Council to Protect Journalists obviously says things to protect journalists and condemns attacks on journalists. So instead of trying to, of course, they are critical of the current regime because the current regime has one of the worst track records of any government in Pakistan following General Zia's government. So, of course, they are heavily criticized by human rights groups and committees to protect journalists and, groups as such and individual journalists. So, yes, that is why they are so wary of it. But they need to concentrate on improving their track record. Because guess what? New York Times and all the major publishers are carrying this story. So this, I mean, in order to silencing a journalist is always going to make your anti-rhetoric more popular. And this is what's happened. Now the whole world knows that we act the way Pakistan acted. And I'm ashamed today that my regime was scared of one journalist who wasn't even writing a story. He was here for a human rights conference that he wasn't allowed to be a part of.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Amar Shan, for joining us and getting us all those insights into this rather a chilling incident that has taken place. Now, this journalist was there to speak at essentially a human rights conference that was organized in Lahore. But as soon as he landed at the airport, he was immediately bundled up and sent back home. And the Pakistani authorities are yet to give an explanation for it.